All right, if loving you is wrong, fans, here's my episode review of the final season, episode 9, The Great Escape. Yeah, I was asleep during the original airing and I literally just watched the episode. Kind of glad I waited because this wasn't a bad episode. It wasn't like god awful, but it was kind of slow in places, and from the messages I woke up to, there were a lot of commercials, and based on what I saw in the episode, I don't think commercials would have made it any better in regards to me enjoying the program. So again, I know it's my choice. I know. I don't mean to bent. It's just like, if you don't want to watch the episode with commercials, watch on the Watch On app. Well, I think they have advertisements now. Or just wait for it to be uploaded on the internet somewhere. I don't know. But in any case, we start off where we left off. Natalie rushes in, and just like we all predicted. I'm not even going to sit up here like I said it. No, we all predicted it. Natalie rushes in, and it's Terrell and that woman named Leslie. Natalie is embarrassed, and she's all like, "Oh my God, oh I'm sorry." And then Natalie's just red in the face. Lucian and Kelly come from the backyard. I feel stupid because I'm like, why are they going to the back room? No, they were going to the backyard, probably just to talk. I mean, if anything, Kelly, it makes a lot of sense in the context of she just got out of jail, so you would think she would be happy to go home. But in the last episode, she talked about how she was uncomfortable because right at the threshold of the home is where she shot a man dead. So it makes sense for the next best thing to just go sit outside and get used to your familiar settings, but also enjoy the fresh air because you were in jail for so long. On top of that, maybe her and Luke could just sit out there and talk for a little bit. So that actually makes sense. The context, I'm not saying the backyard, but just saying, the back, I assume like a back room or something. So yeah, that was actually pretty good. So they come from outside. Natalie is like, I need to talk to you. And so she is just rambling on. And then Lucian goes with her across, to their house. And Kelly's pissed off about Terrell and the fact that, he has another woman in her bed. She's rightfully pissed about that and kicks them both out. Lucian and Kelly talk for a little bit because, at first I thought Lucian was going to take Natalie back home, but Natalie I guess he just walked her to the door and Natalie went by herself. And then Lou just wanted to talk with Kelly, see what's going on, saying, hey, can you keep Justice just for a little bit longer? I need to sell something first. She's like, oh, okay, fine. And then Terrell and Leslie come out of the back. He's like, okay, so Lucian leaves. He goes back home. Kelly's rightfully furious about the fact that he has another woman in her bed. Leslie's out, and she says she'll go talk to Justice. And to sum up the first several minutes, Terrell is apologizing, talking about how, hey, I was just trying to get off. I've been in jail for a long time. And I'm not saying, to be fair, like I'm agreeing with him, but I will say that he didn't know she was getting out of jail when she did, but I'm not saying it's right to have another woman in her home where she's allowing you to stay. So if anything else, Terrell, come on, man, you need to do better. So he's like, okay, fine, I go take a walk for a couple hours. And it's kind of interesting how she's like, hey, go take a walk for a couple hours, but also clean my sheets. You flip my mattress. You do this, you do that. Make sure there's not a trace of that woman in my house. And I'm thinking to myself, how are you going to do that? And then you also take a shower when you're going to take a shower and then go for a walk for a couple hours. But I'll get to that later in the episode. And he's flirting the whole time. And then she goes to the back to get cleaned up. All right. So Kelly texts Lucian as soon as they get in the bathroom because Terrell's like, hey, that woman from across next door, Natalie. Yeah, she got your back. She rushed in there in a hurry. So Kelly puts two and two together thinking that, damn, that's right. Natalie probably thinks me and Lou were having sex instead of it being Terrell. So the next scene, and I don't want to say I dislike Natalie, but I'm getting a bit vexed by her lack of trust with Lucian, and Lucian pretty much puts her in her place. Like, he tells the truth, but that doesn't explain why. You can make the argument that he didn't answer any of Natalie's calls because of the fact that he knew for a fact that it was about that video from Eddie, even though I think a lot of us said over the past couple weeks, when Eddie had the video and Lucian was walking Kelly from the cell, it's like, why wouldn't Lucian like contact Natalie before Eddie would even go talk to her in order to kind of, let her know beforehand what kind of nonsense Eddie's going to be throwing her way? I mean, not to mention, he was rightfully pissed about the fact that Eddie burst into the house. And I know I'm going to talk about this later when Tanya does this to Kelly, but what is it about Tyler Perry's shows, not just this show, but bruh, that happened last week when Peter burst into Bill's apartment, technically the week before last, on If Loving You Is Wrong. It's happened multiple times. What, I mean, given the fact the neighborhood these people live in, nobody locks their doors? People just walk on in? I don't, I think I discussed this in a video last week, because I broke it down like how I always keep the door locked. Like in my bedroom right now, my door is locked. It is only unlocked when I unlock it, of course, to go out into the living room or something. I don't know why, that's the way I am. But in any case, Natalie's just in her feelings about things, and it's like the fact that, you know what, you got a text message, and Lucian reads it. Remember, it's the text message Kelly just sent about the fact that Natalie probably thinks it's them in bed. And he rightfully calls her out because he didn't name drop Claudia, but this was the situation beforehand where Natalie thought that Lucian was cheating. And also when Alex said that he was a baby daddy. So it's a situation where Natalie needs to realize she has a good man, and if anything else, she's pushing him away. And basically he steps outside and he calls Eddie just to, chew him out about the video. Bennett pulls up, they have a talk for a little bit. Lucian says he'll help fill out the police report tomorrow. And it's good just to see a moment where Bennett could have a little bit of reassurance that there's at least one other good man on the block other than him, aside from when he tears up people's houses. So Ian comes up to talk with Lucian, tells him everything about the Larry situation, catching him being affiliated with Carl, fires him. But here's a good thing, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. He's like, you know what, it's a good thing. I want to start my own law firm, my own practice, but only after I sue the hell out of Larry, because I know all the skeletons he has buried away, and he'll settle out of court. So hopefully nothing happens to Ian, but that to me is a good happy ending for a character who was kind of conflicted. He was almost like a modern day Benedict Arnold, but in a sense where he wanted to do the right thing, but for the sake of his career, he had to side with the opposing team outside of Kelly and Lucian. But at the end of the day, he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar and got fired. But it seems to me that things are going to be turning out well for him. So I hope for the best. In terms of his law, I don't know about the baby daddy situation, but in terms of his career, I'm glad he has a plan of action, because believe it or not, if Ian starts his own firm, I wouldn't mind him and Carl teaming up. That would be great if Carl went to work for Ian. I would like that. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Yeah, he also tells Lucian about the whole baby daddy situation. Lucian's like, what? And we go to Randall, who's looks like he recovered the video footage from his hard drive. Remember a few weeks ago, he was checking out the hard drive. He asked Larry if he could have somebody look at it, to kind of pull out any information, any video footage. And I think, yeah, Larry said his forensics team could check it out. But hey, just to, let me know, is there anything you don't want them to see? Because do you have any cameras on the inside of your house or just on the outside? And Randall clearly lied, and he figured, oh yeah, I'll just take it with the tech team back at the community college or whatever, and they'll help me out. So it seems that they were able to find the footage, and Randall clearly sees Bennett in his home tearing it to shreds. So he gets a shoebox full of pills out, and he pulls out a specific bottle. Of course, as the audience, we don't know what they are, but one could assume that they're definitely pills that would affect someone with Tanya's condition. So he goes across the street, goes to Tanya's window while she's painting, pretty much forces her to watch the video, and she pretty much disregards it as, I don't know what you're talking about. She shuts the window. He bursts into the home right before she locks the door and says, I want to send your husband to jail. And she pretty much says, no, please don't send him to jail. He's the only thing I have, because I need him. Because of her condition, she needs someone, around. So she doesn't want him to go to jail. And long story short, he gives her some pills, just saying, hey, these will make her feel better, because she's obviously stressing out and, having a breakdown. And basically she gets, he's handing her pills like they're Tic Tacs. And of course, they are most likely pills that would elevate her condition. I guess you could say those are pills that would trigger something in her to bring out the worst side of her mental illness. So he gives her a bunch of pills, and I'm not saying he's smart, but in order to kind of cover his tracks, like, hey, I'm not going to send your husband to jail, but guess what? If you tell him about this in regards to him giving her the pills, I'm going to send him to jail. And then he left. And Marcy, looking through the window, sees Randall and says, what the hell is that man starting up now? So then we have Steven and Eddie talking, and basically Steven pulls a Kevin McAllister and puts spark plugs or jumper cables on the metal knob, the metal doorknob or door handle of the bathroom. He goes in, and it looks like he's taping his hands with gauze because he's ready to fight Eddie. And he's pretty much telling Eddie about the fact that, you know what you're telling your daughter all those lies about me and your Esperanza. What you need to do is call her up and tell her the truth. Like, I'll tell my daughter whatever the hell I want. And I like the fact this fool shocks his hand the first time. He's like, you know what, this gets me going. And he does it again on purpose. So before they're about to throw down, because he pulls out the gun, and next thing you know, like, another officer comes in and breaks it up. Honestly, this is one of the better scenes of the episode, and I was hoping that we'd see what happened next, because to me it almost seemed like Steven had a specific plan, like it was a ticking clock of, I just need to stall Eddie long enough for someone to see what's going on. 'Cause I'm thinking, like, is somebody going to burst in there, and it will be like someone who has the authority to put Eddie away. But then I'm like, well, how would they do that if the jumper cables are on the door unless they take them off? I don't know. But in any case, we're looking at a situation where Eddie gets out of one pit trap and falls right into another, because guess who's waiting for him right outside the bathroom? It's good old Larry. Larry is pretty much, the same old song and dance. Where my money? I ain't giving it to you. Makes a phone call. Do it now. And I think we all know what do it now means. And then Larry walks off. We go over to Johnny and Alex, and Johnny is he's actually in this moment a good guy. He's trying to just tell Alex, look, you're one of many people who come in here thinking you could just drink away your problems and escape everything. But once you sober up, everything that you've tried to run away from is still right there waiting for you. And I'm like, damn, all right. I mean, to me, this was a good contrast to the character he plays on The Oval, Kyle. But Alex doesn't want to go. She's like, I want to stay here. I don't want to go back to that life. I want an escape. And he pulls out a bag of that good old booger sugar, or whatever you call it, or whatever people call it. And she's like, if I do it, can I stay? Like, honey, if you do it, you can stay with me forever. And I'm like, Johnny. I mean, at first I'm like, this dude, okay, yeah, you're a good one. Get Alex out of here. But no, it's like, now you're gonna. She's never done it before too, so it's kind of like, look, baby, just no. Once you get a hit of this, it's going to be a never-ending cycle. It's almost like you go from trying to sober her up, rightfully so, by cutting her off, but now you're going to give her something that's possibly going to make her addicted. Something ain't right with this. And I'm not going to dock points because of that, but it's just something that didn't really make sense to me. All right, because how many other Alexes have come up to the bar like Alex and have been wanting to leave? Did you give any of them cocaine or anything like that? Whatever. Okay, so Marcy and Brad, they just finished up dinner. They're happy about how the kids took the news. Ian stops by looking for Alex, and Brad pretty much shows off the messages between Alex and Ian on the dating website and pretty much asks about the whole situation about the baby daddy, and he wants to see DNA test results as well. Marcy's trying to calm the situation down, but Brad's like, no. We're going to get this test, which begs the question of, when are they going to get it? Because in the next episode, it looks like we're still going to be in nighttime, aka the same day, and then there are only 2 episodes after that. So how in the world is the DNA test going to happen? I don't know. But in any case, Marcy again shoots down the proposal, saying that, look, we need to take things slow. You've been through a lot. There's no need for us to just rush into a marriage because of everything that's going on. And I mean, again, Marcy wins points for that. Like, literally, Brad, you're going through a lot, but at the same time, like, it's almost like Brad is jumping into another relationship, aka marriage, to kind of, like, distance himself from the mess of a marriage he was in with Alex, kind of like Alex is trying to escape through drinking, sex, and being with Johnny, as opposed to dealing with the reality of her, you know, actions and decisions. So I don't know. It's just crazy how these characters kind of parallel each other, but in different ways. She's also not wanting to stay the night because number one, the kids are upstairs. Number two, I'm not staying in her bed. I mean, that's a very valid point. So once again, Marcy, you get points. But basically her plan of action is, hey, let's have sex in that window looking over at the house next door. Basically, we're going to have wild animal sex, and hopefully Randall sees, and that possibly leads to Randall coming into the house and Marcy beating the hell out of him to a bloody pulp. So yeah, I could definitely see that happening. So then we go over to Terrell and Kelly. She just got out of the shower. She's cleaned up. And she says, I want to go talk to Justice. You going to go for that walk? And he says, okay, since we can't just get back to normal all of a sudden, I want to just stay here. Thanks to you. I'll look for a job, make some money, then I'll go out on my own. And this is okay, what time is it? 'Cause I mean, I know it was like a little after 3 p.m. a few episodes ago, when Ian and Lucian were waiting for Carl. Then they go into the office and then they see the DA, and then she pretty much lets Kelly off. So we know around that time, it was around 3 p.m.-ish. Then over the last couple episodes, especially last week, we see the kids coming home from school. So school lets out at 3, so we can assume that by 3:30 or 4 o'clock, they're back at home. And then all of a sudden jumps to nighttime. And I'm like, how long was Kelly in the shower? Because I mean, she got home from jail not long after the kids got home from school, I believe, last week. So it's just a situation where it doesn't make any sense at all what's going on here time-wise. This is just like the Oval, what was it, the week before last, where Barry and Richard are leaving Nancy's, or, their house to go to the pharmacy, which we learned last week isn't too far away from the house. And then it's pitch black when they get there. So I'm like, how is it nighttime now, Kelly, when you get out? I know women take a while to get freshened up and all, but at the same time, it's like you shower, and it's like, so did Terrell just spend that time while you were showering, cleaning your bed and everything? When did he have a chance to take a shower? Because you told him to clean up, and now you're just going to see Justice? Look, I don't know. Whatever, it's nighttime. So in any case, Tanya, and again, this goes back to why do these characters not lock their doors? She just comes in there, plops on the couch. Kelly's going off thinking it's another one of Terrell's, little fast things from across the town or something like that, which is pretty funny. And, they're just saying like, who the hell is this? And she's in her own little world, and she's pretty much, snapping at Kelly. Then she gets up and leaves, and then they follow her on the street. Bennett rushes out because he's been looking for her for a long time. And I'm thinking, well, was Bennett in one room and then Tanya was in another? He comes out and then doesn't find her, so then he's been rushing her. Like, you say you've been looking for a while, but it's obviously a small neighborhood. So was Tanya just walking into other people's houses? Was she just in the backyard? So I don't know, but she's sitting on the sidewalk and just losing her mind. Then we go over to the last scene. Esperanza gets a call from Steven. Mika's still locked in her room. She's been in there all day. Steven's still at work. And of course, they just have a little flirty scene. It was nice to see Esperanza happy, except for when she hears Mika screams and she rushes outside and the van pulls off, and that's the end of the episode. As predicted, that's the cliffhanger. What do I think of the episode? It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. I think this definitely set up plot points for the final, the last couple episodes, that's for sure. But this definitely wasn't an episode that I would rewatch again anytime soon. So I mean, like Natalie's lack of trust in Lucian, Johnny going from Alex, you need to go home, to pulling out some, cocaine. Then, I think it's coke. Then you have, let's see here. 6.5 out of 10. Again, wasn't a bad episode, but I'm not mad that I slept through it. I'll put it that way. But yeah, it's pretty crazy to think that Tanya just burst into someone's house like that. And again, not to get too real world here, but it's just, crazy to think, characters just burst into people's houses and nothing happens to them, or Eddie pull, a cop pulling out a gun on another person. It's just like the news yesterday was just horrendous to say the least, from the dog walker and the bird watcher telling the woman to put the dog on the leash, and then that blew up viral. Then of course, the cop kneeling on the guy's neck till he died. I had to unplug. To be honest, I wasn't up for watching the episode yesterday. Not just because of me being sleepy, but everything going on. I just had to, unplug. But yeah, I know, like, these episodes were like, written, filmed in like 2018 or something like that. I forgot the exact. I think it's 2018. So it's not like, how can Tyler put this on TV with everything going on? That's not what I'm saying. But it's just that after everything yesterday, I just needed to just go dark, you know what I mean? Just cut everything off and just try to recharge. But today, like I said, I came back to the apartment yesterday morning. So I just watched the episode, so I'm going to get the episode review and the trailer breakdown up early this morning. It's currently 6:53. I'll try to straighten up my room more, and I'll get some oval videos done. Get ready for the episode tonight. Don't know if I'm watching live, but I'll get that. Then, of course, tomorrow is Bruh and Ruthless, and then we'll start the cycle all over again. Here we are, the final week of May. But yeah, with that being said, 6.5 out of 10 for this episode. Do you think the episode, I scored it too low? I think it kind of started off it really started off slow for me. That's probably what had me thinking, and this episode's kind of blah. But it is more about the setup for what's to come. But I'm just still thinking about, it looks like in the trailer, and not to jump to my trailer review, but it looks like Tanya is going to be taken away to the loony bin next week. So it's like, why was Tanya and Bennett even introduced this late in the series? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with my score? What was some of your favorite parts of the episode? What are some things that didn't make sense to you? Also, you know what? I forgot to mention. Because, look, I know in terms of how the story goes, certain events take place at the same time. Like, we'll see one scene between two characters, and then maybe like 30 minutes later in the episode, we'll see another scene between another set of characters. But you have to understand, like, in some circumstances, the events at different points of the episode probably happen at the same time. So you have Steven in the bathroom. Eddie walks out. Eddie is with Larry, who makes the phone call to do it now. So one could almost assume that the van that takes off with Mika had been planted outside of Esperanza's house for a little while. So later in the episode, we see Steven at his desk, obviously after coming out of the bathroom, and he's talking with Esperanza, and then Esperanza, apparently hears Mika's screams as she's being put into the van and speeds off. So it's like, when exactly did those people come into the house to get Mika? Did they go through the window, or did they come through the front door? Where was Esperanza when this was going on? Was she just in another room completely? It didn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, you say do it now, but at the same time, like, this isn't a situation where it happened at the same time. I mean, you can make the argument like, well, Jeremy, what if, Steven got out of the bathroom moments after Eddie, and then he goes back to his desk and he and Esperanza talk, and that happened a couple of minutes after Larry made the phone call to do it now, which would make sense as to the time frame of the people, scouting out the place, going in, taking Mika, then it's, leaving. I don't know. Like I said, 6.5 out of 10. Subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, comment your thoughts, follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Make sure you join Patreon if you haven't done so already. Free content over there I don't post on YouTube. You can join for as little as $1 a month. Or if you just want to make a donation to the channel in another way, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. And guys, 3 episodes left, and if loving you is wrong, is over.